Good evening, my friends, and welcome to another live broadcast of Freedom Free for All, the show that helps you deprogram from the constant barrage of government propaganda. My name is Josh Steffler, and tonight Brad Rhodes and Greg Hill join me in talking about everything climate. Brad is talking about scripted media lies and the climate change agenda. Greg is talking about the climate agenda. He's got some crispy clips, and I'm giving a slight eulogy to our dearly departed green lover, Maurice Strong. So, because we're new media, also we have Richard Heathen of Liberty Machine News joining us in the live chat section of the roundtable of our show last half hour. So, log into YouTube, get your questions ready. And a big thank you to our new media partners, Josh Sigurdsson of World Alternative Media. You're going to see a promo of him later on in the show, and hopefully he's joining us as our guest next week, so tune in for that. Richard Heathen of LibertyMachineNews.com, he's on our roundtable tonight, so be sure to tune in for that. And to all of the good people at the New Agora, one of the most powerful news magazines, newspapers that you'll read. Pick your copy up at many freedom-loving businesses in the lower mainland of Vancouver and southern Vancouver Island. The December issue is out now, so come down to Freedom headquarters and pick up your copy. Tonight, I am talking about the climate change agenda of a recently deceased man, Maurice Strong. If you've been watching the show, you've seen Dr. Tim Ball on, and he's talked extensively about Maurice Strong. If you haven't seen it, go through our YouTube channel, go back and check out some of the Dr. Tim Ball interviews, because he really lays out what kind of a man Maurice Strong is. Now, the media is totally scripted. You see all sorts of stories about this man dying, and they read the exact same. I'm going to read you part of the media programming that you will hear in most mainstream media stories about this guy. Maurice Strong, whose work helped lead to the landmark climate summit that began in Paris on Monday, has died at age 86, the head of UN's environmental agency said Saturday. The Canadian-born Strong, the first UN Environment Program chief, organized the Rio Earth Summit in 1992, which led to the launch of the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change and UN Agenda 21. So that clip that I just read you is exact wording in at least 5 media stories that I read about it on the Toronto Sun, CBC News, Globe and Mail, Globe and Snail, a few of the climate alarmist websites too. They're reading from a script, and this is a man who made his fortune in oil companies, like his oil and energy businesses. Look at this. This is what this guy made his money off of. He was CEO of Petro-Canada, Power Corporation, Caltex Africa, Hydro-Canada, which became Hydro One, the privatized Ontario Power Company, the Colorado Land and Cattle Company, Ajax Petroleum, Canadian Industrial Oil and Gas, and that's just a few. That's just a few of the companies that this guy made his fortune on, while telling you that because you drive a car, you're a carbon sinner and you need to pay because the oceans are rising and the sky is falling. So it's crazy. This guy's not very conducive to freedom. Christiana Figueres, the current head of the United Nations Climate Agency, tweeted Saturday that we thank Maurice Strong for his visionary impetus to our understanding of sustainability, and we will miss you. This, again, was another clip from this media script that numerous news stories have repeated and repeated and repeated. And this is the same Christiana Figueres who sent out a press release in February saying that the environmental movement was not so much about saving the environment and more about destroying capitalism. Thus, again, showing that the environmental movement is just a rehashing of the communist movement. It's the Bolshevik revolution again. There's a reason we call them watermelons, they're green on the outside, but red on the inside. And as the world media look to idolize and canonize this man in his passing, let us not forget this man and his association with the Club of Rome and his anti-human, insidious quotes such as these ones. We may get to the point where the only way of saving the world will be for the industrial civilization to collapse. Isn't it our only hope for the planet that the industrialized civilizations collapse? Isn't it our responsibility to bring that about? And this is a particular one that really gets to me. Licenses to have babies is something I got in trouble for years ago for suggesting that even in Canada, this may be necessary at some point, at least some sort of restriction on the right to have a child. Think about that for a second. You have a right to have a child. It's basic human nature to pass your genes along to perpetuate the human race. And now he's talking about how government should be allowed to seize that from you and restrict that right, all in the name of some invisible life-giving gas that they pretend is carbon, dirty coal, when it's actually this invisible gas that's surrounding us all. So this guy is... not to speak ill will of the dead, but I mean, these are his words, not mine. You know, we need to restrict your right on having a child because, you know, he made too much money in the oil and gas industries and now you got to pay for that because, it's too dangerous. This guy was also a character that was involved in the foundation and the formation of creating this carbon credit financial scam as well. Check out this video where he talks about the climate scam and moving away from gold and onto carbon credits. Check this out.
We cannot be complacent unless the agreements reached here are accompanied by real commitments.
Canada's Maurice Strong, as head of the summit, made a revolutionary suggestion. Why not pay people for keeping carbon out of the atmosphere? It was the birth of greenhouse gas pollution as a tradable commodity.
What we're going to see is the expansion of the importance and the value of that commodity beyond anything else. The world can live without gold. The world cannot live if it fails to reduce our emissions of carbon.
To turn this big idea into reality, Strong turned to Richard Sander, one of the world's most successful commodities traders.
The world emits about 30 to 35 billion tons of carbon. That's, quote, the crop. That presents a market that could be $15 trillion.
Critics like Kevin Smith.
So there you see, you know, and this could go on for hundreds of years after the gold standard died and the financial system is crashing around us. They've got another thing all set up, ready to go. And it's based on air, taxing air. I'm speechless. I can't even talk about it. Now, you know, the important thing is to remember that the media has a script that they read from. And the new carbon-centric agenda that they espouse and fomented was formed by this man. And may he rest in peace, and may the damage that he has done to individual liberty and national sovereignty be undone with his passing. Because the media is not telling the public any of this stuff that I've brought up, but instead they're putting this man on a pedestal and canonizing him as a green hero. They're reading all from the same script. He's a hero, a carbon champion, you know? And just like what's going on in Princeton University right now, where they're having this conversation on Woodrow Wilson and why he should not be idolized because of his character flaws and his unconstitutional actions, we should also not allow this man to be canonized as this carbon saint and savior while he espoused some of the most horrific ideas that I have explained in this episode. Unbelievable. So, Brad Rhodes is going to join us after we come back from a short promo from Josh Sigurdsson of World Alternative Media. Thanks for watching.
This is Josh Sigurdsson from World Alternative Media, and we're proud partners with the guys at Freedom Free For All, and we are Change Victoria. This week on Wham, we take economic questions from socialists and give free market solutions with our good friend John Sneisen, who just authored the book, The End of Freedom: How Our Monetary System Enslaves Us. We discuss a brief history of how government controls the mainstream media and why we need new media. We also discuss the globalist child kidnapping agency CFS some more. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at World Alternative Media. Stay tuned for more news to break the pyramid.